Listen closely. This story isn't meant to be heard casually, and once it starts, there's no turning away. If you enjoy dark, realistic horror like this, consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications to support the channel. Now let's begin. The police called at 6:42 in the morning. They confirmed my identity, and then told me my sister had died in a car accident just after midnight. Her vehicle hit a light pole at the intersection of Granger and 8th. There were no skid marks and no witnesses. They said she was pronounced dead at the scene and that, as far as they could tell, she was alone in the car. When the call ended, I sat on my couch holding my phone, trying to understand how a normal night had ended like that. We had argued before she left. I was tired and didn't want to drive her. She said it was fine and walked out with her keys. That was the last thing I said to her. At 7:09 a.m., my phone vibrated. The message came from her number. It asked if I got home safe. At first, I assumed it was delayed. Phones mess up sometimes. Messages get stuck. That explanation fell apart as soon as I remembered the time of death. I checked the timestamp again. It had been sent moments earlier, I replied, asking who it was, already feeling sick as I typed. The response came immediately and told me I knew who it was. I tried calling the number. It went straight to voicemail. I didn't listen long enough to hear the beep. I opened the news instead and found a short article about the crash. The picture showed the car wrapped around the pole. I recognized the dent on the back bumper from when she scraped a parking garage wall months earlier. Another message came in saying I was supposed to drive her last night. That was true, and whoever was texting knew it. I told them to stop. I said it wasn't funny. The reply said they waited for me, and that they were still in the car. I stood up and looked out the window. My own car was parked on the street, untouched and quiet. Everything outside looked normal. When I asked what they meant, the reply said there had been someone else in the car and that they hadn't seen him at first. I asked who. The answer said a man had been sitting in the back seat. I locked my apartment door and asked why she didn't get out. The response said she was told not to, and that the man said he had already ridden with me before. That made no sense, but it also made my chest tighten because I couldn't remember the last time I checked my back seat before driving. More messages followed, explaining that he only rode with people who were alone and distracted, people who didn't look behind them and didn't notice when an extra weight settled into the car. The text said he moved closer during the drive, little by little, and that she tried to scream before being told that if she did, I would hear it through the phone. I didn't know what that meant, and I didn't want to. Another message reminded me that I never answered her final text the night before. I apologized, my hand shaking as I typed. The response said it didn't matter anymore, and that I still owed him a ride. That was when I heard a car door outside. I looked through the window again and saw the interior light of my car glowing. My phone buzzed and told me he was in my car now and that he was done waiting. I said I was calling the police. The response said they wouldn't arrive in time. Footsteps echoed in the hallway, slow and deliberate, stopping right outside my door. The messages continued, explaining that he didn't like being ignored and that he preferred people who froze instead of running. The door handle moved. The lock turned. I backed away, heart pounding, and grabbed a heavy lamp from the table. My phone vibrated again, telling me it was already over, that I had been giving him rides for years without knowing it, and that my sister was just the first person to notice him. The door opened. No one rushed in. No one lunged. A man stepped inside calmly and closed the door behind him. He looked ordinary, middle-aged, tired, dressed like someone who blended into crowds. He looked at me and told me I never checked my backseat, not once, and that people like me made his job easy. He explained everything in a flat, practical voice. He didn't kill people violently. He waited until they panicked, until their mistakes took over, until the crash happened on its own. He said fear drove better than he ever could. I tried to swing the lamp. I missed. When I woke up later, I was in the hospital. The police said a neighbor heard a struggle and called it in. They said the man ran before they arrived. They told me I was lucky. They never caught him. I sold my car a week later. I moved apartments. I check every back seat before I get in, even taxis and ride shares. I don't drive at night anymore. Sometimes, when my phone vibrates and there's no notification, I still feel my stomach drop. I don't ignore messages now. I always respond, because some people don't stop riding with you just because you finally notice them. I worked overnight security at a warehouse on the edge of town. It stored consumer electronics, mostly televisions and computer equipment, and my job was to sit in a small office and watch the camera feeds until morning. There were 12 cameras in total, covering the loading docks, entrances, aisles, and parking lot. Nothing ever happened. That was why they only needed one guard on the night shift. The monitors were mounted on the wall in front of the desk. 4 screens, each divided into 3 camera feeds. The footage updated in real time, no delays, no recordings unless I manually flagged something. On my 3rd week, during a shift that started at midnight, I noticed movement on one of the screens. It was camera 7, which covered aisle C. That aisle was always empty at night because nothing was stored there long term. I leaned forward and watched. At first I thought it was a lighting glitch, but then I saw it clearly. Something moved between the shelves at the far end of the aisle. I zoomed in using the controls on the desk. The aisle was empty, no boxes disturbed, no doors open, no shadows moving. I assumed I imagined it and leaned back in my chair. About 20 minutes later, camera 7 flickered. When the image stabilized, there was a person standing in the aisle. He was facing the camera, completely still. I checked the timestamp. Live feed. I checked the other cameras. No alarms had been triggered. All entrances were still locked. I zoomed in again. The man was wearing dark clothes, nothing distinctive. His face was hard to make out, but I could tell he wasn't wearing a badge or uniform. I grabbed the radio and called out, asking for identification. No response. I picked up the phone to call the police, but before I could dial, the man took a step forward, then another. He walked slowly down the aisle toward the camera until his face filled the frame. The image distorted slightly, like the camera was struggling to focus. Then the feed cut out. Camera 7 went black. I logged the incident and switched my attention to the other screens. Every other camera showed normal footage. The parking lot was empty. The loading docks were closed. After about 5 minutes, camera 7 came back online. The aisle was empty again. I stayed alert for the rest of the shift, but nothing else happened. I reported it to my supervisor in the morning. He told me the cameras sometimes glitched and said he'd have maintenance check it. The next night, I came in early and paid closer attention to the feeds. At 1:13 a.m., camera 7 flickered again. The man was back. This time, he wasn't alone. There were 2 figures standing behind him, partially hidden by the shelves. They were taller and thinner, their heads tilted slightly, like they were looking directly into the camera despite standing at an angle. I felt a knot form in my stomach. I picked up the phone and dialed the police immediately. As the line rang, the man in front raised his hand and pointed upward. I realized he was pointing at the camera. Camera 7 went black again. Before the dispatcher answered, another camera flickered. Camera 3, which covered the office hallway. I looked at the screen. The same man was standing at the end of the hallway, facing the camera mounted above the door to my office. The dispatcher picked up. I told her there were intruders inside the building and gave the address. She asked how many suspects there were. I looked back at the screens. Camera 3 showed the man closer now, standing just outside my office door. Camera 7 came back online. The aisle was empty. Then camera 3 went black. The office door handle rattled. I locked it and backed away, heart pounding. The dispatcher told me officers were on the way and asked me to stay on the line. The monitors flickered one by one. Every screen now showed the inside of my office from different angles. I didn't recognize the cameras. They were closer than any of the warehouse cameras should have been. One showed the back of my head. Another showed my hands shaking as I held the phone. The dispatcher's voice cut out mid-sentence. The office lights turned off. The monitors stayed on. On every screen, the man was standing behind me. I spun around. The office was empty. My phone buzzed. A text message appeared from an unknown number. "You're not supposed to watch us." The monitors shut off simultaneously. The office door opened slowly. I ran. I don't remember how I got out of the building. I only remember running into the parking lot and collapsing near my car when the police arrived. They searched the warehouse and found no signs of forced entry, no damaged cameras, and no missing equipment. They reviewed the footage from that night. Camera 7 never showed a person. Camera 3 never went offline. The only unusual thing they found was a single frame of corrupted video time-stamped at 1:13 a.m. It showed the inside of the security office, from behind, with someone standing exactly where I had been sitting. I quit the job that morning. A month later, I received an email from the warehouse management asking if I could confirm something. They attached a still image taken from one of the cameras during my last shift. It was time-stamped at 1:13 a.m. The image showed the office. The chair was empty. The monitors were on. Every screen showed me watching them.